You ever walk through your front door and realize your mind didn't come with you? You're home, but you're still answering emails in your head, still arguing with a meeting that ended 2 hours ago. Your kids talking, your partners smiling, and you're nodding, but you're not really there. That's the new burnout nobody talks about, when you stop bringing your best self home. We've all learned how to start our days: routines, caffeine, motivation, noise. But no one ever taught us how to end them, how to cross that invisible line between the life we work for and the life we're actually living. If that hits a little too close, stay with me, because what you'll hear in the next few minutes isn't a self-help trick. It's a rescue plan for your peace. Before we begin, try this. Tonight, when you open your front door, pause. Take one breath before you speak. And if you want to remember why, write this down quietly for yourself. I want to arrive before I react. That's where peace starts, not with a vacation, but with one conscious step across your own doorway. I used to walk into my house like a storm, keys in one hand, phone in the other, my head still buzzing from the day. I'd open the door, step inside, and keep talking to the invisible meeting that had ended 30 minutes ago. My family would greet me, and I'd nod, but I wasn't really there. I had changed locations, not worlds. One evening, my son asked, "Dad, are you still at work?" I looked around. The lights were soft, the table was set, and somehow, I was still mentally in a conference room. He was right. I hadn't come home. I had just arrived. That night, I sat down, and for the first time, I realized something simple but profound. Coming home isn't a place. It's a practice. It's the quiet art of re-entering life. You know, we spend years learning how to start our days. Morning routines, workouts, affirmations, caffeine rituals. But we rarely learn how to end them. How to cross that bridge from doing to being. How to leave the noise at the door so the people inside don't inherit our static. I call that bridge the ritual of return. A short, simple practice that helps you change gears between the life you work for and the life you live. It began for me on a rainy Thursday evening when exhaustion felt like a second skin. I realized I was losing the thread between my professional life and my personal one. So, I decided to design my own doorway back to myself. It started with 3 small steps. I walked through the door, placed my phone in a little wooden bowl by the entryway, and took one deep breath. That was step 1, physical separation. Then I looked up, found my wife, and asked the same question I've asked every night since. What was the best part of your day? That was step 2. Connection. Finally, I poured 2 glasses of water, handed her one, and said, "We made it." That was step 3. Shared pause. That was it. No therapy session, no grand speech, just 60 seconds of intentional transition. But something happened. The room felt warmer. The evening stretched wider, and for the first time in a long time, I felt like I had truly arrived. Not as an employee, not as a problem solver, but as myself. The next night I did it again, then again. And every repetition taught my nervous system the same message. You're safe now. your home. You see, a ritual doesn't have to be long to be powerful. It just has to be consistent enough to retrain your heart to exhale. Why does this matter so much? Because most of us bring home invisible luggage. Not briefcases, but emotional carry-ons packed with stress, deadlines, emails, half-finished conversations. We walk through the door still wearing the noise of the day. We don't mean to, but we do. And then we wonder why small things feel big. Why a simple question, "What's for dinner?" sounds like pressure. Why our kids step back when they see that look in our eyes. It's not because we don't love them. It's because we never taught our minds to clock out. A ritual is like a doorway within a doorway, a tiny airlock between the world that drains you and the world that heals you. When you build one, you send a signal to your mind. The workday is over. You've arrived somewhere that loves you. A friend of mine, she's a teacher, told me she sits in her car for 3 minutes before going inside each day. No music, no calls, just breathing. She said, "That's when I put down the stories from school so I don't hand them to my family." Another friend, a nurse, lights a single candle on her porch when she gets home from a night shift. It's her way of saying, "This house is sacred again." And one father of 2 told me he takes a 5-minute walk around his block before stepping inside, so he can greet his children as a dad, not as a manager. We don't all need the same ritual. We just need one that reminds us we've crossed the threshold. A few weeks after I began mine, I visited friends for dinner. They did something that stayed with me. Every guest who walked through the door was greeted by the same line. "Welcome home, even if it's not yours." The first time I heard it, I laughed. The second time, I understood. That sentence changed the air. People relaxed, shoulders dropped, phones disappeared. By the time we sat down to eat, everyone felt like family. The phrase wasn't decoration, it was design. A spoken ritual that set the tone for the night. A home isn't measured in square feet. It's measured in warmth per second. That's what rituals do. They build warmth on purpose. They don't wait for connection. They create it. If you live alone, my friend, you can still do this. You don't need a full house to come home. You just need intention. I've met people who greet themselves aloud the moment they walk in. "Welcome home," they say, smiling at no one and everyone. And you can almost feel their soul unclench. One man told me he plays the same jazz record every evening before cooking dinner. He said it's like giving his heart a rhythm to come back to. Another keeps a small bowl of seashells by the door. He adds one each week to remind himself how many peaceful nights he's had. You see, the world outside can be loud, endless buzzing, endless asking. Your ritual, that's the silence that teaches you how to hear yourself again. I remember one evening I was driving home through heavy traffic. My head was full of emails, my shoulders locked in the shape of the day. When I reached my street, I parked the car and didn't move. I turned off the engine, turned off the radio, and just sat there. The city hummed outside, but inside the car, there was stillness. I watched the porch light spill across the driveway and whispered, "Work stays in the car." Then I took one deep breath and said, "Home begins when I open the door." 3 minutes later, I stepped out lighter. The same street, the same job, the same house, but a different me. Sometimes the smallest pause builds the longest peace. You don't need to overhaul your life to find calm. You just need a doorway that teaches your heart to slow down. Let me share how to build one. Step 1. Create your door ritual. Choose 3 small actions: a gesture, a question, a movement. Maybe you place your phone in a basket, ask the first person you see one kind question, and wash your hands, literally rinsing away the day. Maybe you change your shoes, light a candle, or pour a glass of water and toast the evening. Whatever your steps are, keep them simple and repeatable. Because home begins with repetition, not perfection. Step 2. Repeat for 7 days. Same sequence, every day. Even when you're tired, even when no one else notices. If you live alone, speak your welcome aloud. Welcome home. Say it with a little warmth, a little pride. The consistency tells your nervous system, this is peace. This is mine. Step 3. Add a celebration element on Fridays. Maybe it's your favorite song, maybe a piece of chocolate, maybe an extra long hug. A small reward that marks the end of the week and honors your effort. Because gratitude, my friend, is the music of return. Try it for 1 week. See how it feels to arrive, not just enter. And here's what you'll notice. The people around you will feel it, even if they can't name it. Your home will sound quieter, not because the world got calmer, but because you did. You'll start to carry less of your old day into your new evening. You'll start responding instead of reacting. And the little things that used to spark arguments, they'll start to fade, like background noise. Peace doesn't require silence. It just needs a signal. Your ritual is that signal. A neighbor of mine, a retired firefighter, once told me his secret. He said, "Every day when I came home, I'd sit on the porch and take off my boots before walking inside. I told myself, the weight stays outside. I didn't want my family to feel what the firehouse felt." He smiled, looked at his hands, and said quietly, 40 years later, I still do it. Now it's not about fire, it's about gratitude. And that right there is the power of ritual. It doesn't erase your day, it redeems it. You see, a habit is what you do. A ritual is how you do it, with intention, with kindness, with meaning. When you lose rituals, you lose the map back to peace. When you find them, you start returning to yourself. When I look back now, I think we all need more ceremonies of ordinary life. The little things that whisper, I belong here. You see, we chase milestones, promotions, purchases, applause. But the real milestones are invisible. They're those quiet moments when you come home to yourself, when you breathe without rushing, when you listen without defending, when your heart finally takes its shoes off. If you want to test this tonight, start small. Before you step into your house, or your apartment, or your room, pause. Put your hand on the doorknob.
Take one breath. Whisper something gentle. It could be, "Let it go," or "I'm here now," or simply, "Home." Then step inside slowly, like a guest entering something sacred. Do that for a week, and your doorway will start to feel like a friend. And when you start to feel more grounded, you'll notice your evenings begin to change shape. Dinner tastes better. Conversations soften. Even silence feels kind. I once visited an older couple who had been married for 50 years. Every evening, no matter who got home first, they had a ritual. The first one through the door turned on the porch light. The second one, arriving later, would see it from down the street and smile. "It means," the husband told me, "I'm being expected." And that, my friend, touched me deeply. Because that's what rituals do. They turn routine into reminder. They say, "You matter enough to be met." So tonight, before you cross your own threshold, create your small ritual of return. Lay down your phone. Breathe once. Ask one kind question. Pour one glass of water. Light one candle. Choose whatever brings you back from the storm. And tomorrow, when you do it again, notice how the world feels softer, how people respond differently, how even your dog seems to wag with a little more peace. Coming home isn't an accident. It's an art, and you can practice it every day.
I used to walk into my house like a storm. Now, I walk in like a sunrise. The same door, the same floor, the same life. Just entered more gently. And I've learned something beautiful along the way. Maybe the world doesn't need more effort. Maybe it just needs more gentle arrivals. Because peace doesn't always come from doing less. Sometimes it comes from arriving more fully, from being awake in the moments we used to rush through. Every evening I try to remember, this isn't just another night. It's another chance to return to what matters, to look into the faces that make my life whole, to step out of the noise and back into the warmth. Tomorrow's peace begins with today's return. And today, my friend, your door is waiting. So when you turn that key tonight, pause for a second. Take one breath, smile softly, and walk in like the person your home has been waiting for. Because coming home, truly coming home, isn't about the walls around you. It's about the space within you, the calm you carry, the presence you bring, the love you allow to flow quietly from one heartbeat to another. So go ahead, step through, lay the storm down, let the sun rise in, and remember, every time you cross that threshold with awareness, you're not just entering your house, you're returning to yourself.